Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to be sharing with you some of the insights and the tools that I have experienced over the last 10 years. My name is Jotipal Kaur. I am both a Kundalini yoga teacher and a body talk practitioner, but really my work is about empowering people, particularly women, to create deep transformative change within themselves. And I've always been inspired to see the transformation in women that I work with. Today, I want to share with you these 5 key strategies for lasting happiness, where you can really connect to your abundant and joyful self, no matter what your circumstances are, whether you feel trapped, whether life isn't working for you, that there are keys to be able to find this happiness within you. And I feel that this topic is really important because it goes against what we've always been taught in our lives. So today, what I want to share with you is how to move into a place of feeling abundant, of feeling joyful and free in yourself, no matter what the outer circumstances. So in order to make sure that you're in the right place, I want to just clarify that this masterclass is for you. So if you are feeling discontented in your life, maybe there's a feeling of unhappiness, maybe you're feeling miserable with your life circumstances, maybe you're feeling stuck and trapped, maybe you've felt like this for a long time and there's a part of you that feels disillusioned, but at the same time you're wanting to create change, you're looking for something else. Perhaps you feel alone, or that you are so used to making yourself small that you've got to a place in your life where you really want to drop this now. Most importantly, you have come to a place within yourself where you want to manifest your gifts and you want to align to your true nature. And you may not know what your true nature is. You may not even be clear about what your gifts are, but that there within you there is a yearning for this. There is a yearning for something else rather than feeling small, stuck and alone. And lastly, this masterclass is for you if you want to live a free and joyful life, no matter what your outer circumstances are. I'm really looking and calling for women who have a warrior spirit and the courage to make deep changes in themselves and are ready to make that step. So if you're feeling the pain of life, you want to expand and realize your gifts, then this really is for you. Just to tell you a little bit about myself, my name is Jotipal Kaur. I'm a Kundalini yoga teacher. I'm also a practitioner in body talk, which is energy work and consciousness shifting work. And I'm a master facilitator for deep transformational change. And I fuse together these disciplines within my work, within groups, and also working one-to-one. And I've been a yoga practitioner for 20 years. And then 10 years ago, I discovered Kundalini yoga. And this was a life-changing event for me. I was in a really dark place, suffering from postnatal depression. I was living in the shadow of narcissistic abuse and struggling with self-worth and self-esteem. And at the time, I had a lot of physical pain in my body, and I also was experiencing a lot of emotional heartbreak. Kundalini yoga really changed everything for me. It literally blew my mind. In one class of Kundalini yoga, I had never experienced such elation and inspiration in all the years that I had been doing yoga. And I attended a workshop in Kundalini yoga, and the woman who was teaching the class was so radiant and bright. I was desperate to feel what she was radiating. And I was also supported during this time with Body Talk, which is a life-changing system to dissolve limiting beliefs and subconscious programming that's reflected through the body. And the combination of these modalities created a deep change in myself. I was able to move out from being disempowered to taking steps to get my life back on track. In 2008, I trained as a Body Talk practitioner because this was such a powerful healing modality for myself, where I was able to dissolve subconscious programming, I was able to shift a lot of limiting beliefs, move out of pain, and begin to experience joy in my life. And then after that, I also trained as a level 2 Kundalini yoga teacher and have been continuing my professional development in both of these areas. So within yoga therapy, within energy medicine, and bringing these disciplines together in the work that I do now. So since I qualified as a Kundalini yoga teacher in 2012, I've been delivering my combination of Kundalini yoga and body talk in courses, in workshops, and retreats to hundreds of students around the UK, and specialising in small groups of women who form a powerful energetic alliance to embracing what we call the Adi Shakti. The Adi Shakti is your divine feminine power, or this creative life force within. I feel very, very passionate about sharing these gifts with you so that you are also empowered to step into who you really are and begin to share your gifts with the world. We're living at a time where there is a huge awakening that's happening on the planet, and part of that awakening is coming together in group consciousness. So no longer are we just working with ourselves, we need to come together with like-minded people to create deep change. And this is like ripples on a pond. The more people that can really step into their own power and align to their true nature, the more that we can begin to change deeply the world that we live in. Okay, so this is the exciting bit. This is what we're going to cover on this masterclass. So first of all, the true secret to transformative happiness. So I'm going to tell you what this really is and how you can find it. So it may feel impossible to really uncover true happiness in the world that we're living, but I want you to understand and come to a realization about what it is that is holding you back from being able to obtain this transformative happiness that I'm going to talk to you about. I want to share with you how to create true resilience in the face of everything that life throws at you, so that you can ride the roller coaster, you can weather the storms with unshakable strength. I also want to cover belief in your divine right to be joyful, free and empowered, and how to use the magic of your own gifts once and for all. I also want to cover self-worth, what this means as a woman, how to stop overgiving to others, and how to give yourself the opportunity to shine in your own life. And that brings us on to why you're here. You're listening to me today, probably because you got to the point in your life that you're missing a spark. Maybe the light has gone out. Maybe you feel that there is more to life than this experience. And you're not alone. People all over the world are searching for something else. There is a great awakening happening on this planet, and now this is your time to shine. So on to the true secret of transformative happiness and how to achieve it. So happiness has become a bit of a cliched word, a gimmick or a marketing tool. However, I want to tell you it really is possible to live in a world where there is such chaos and destruction going on around us and still be able to obtain happiness. What I want to share with you is that true happiness comes from a state of being that is inside you. Really is about developing a relationship with your true self, not the small part of you that believes all of those limiting beliefs or that makes you feel small or inadequate. Your true self is boundless. Happiness is not an attachment to things on the outside of you, such as your relationships, your home, your car, or even a new dress. This never leads to true happiness and really is an attachment to fill a space within yourself that feels separate or incomplete. When you relate to your true self, you start to feel a deep contentment inside because your true self is boundless. It's not attached to anything on the outside of you. It's an energy that comes from source, which brings strength, contentment, the ability to let go and surrender into your life because there's something else bigger than you that supports you. With that comes a magnificent sense of feeling supported, almost like you could be sitting into a comfy sofa and knowing that you're supported no matter what it is that's going on or how your life is unfolding. Now that you're coming to understand that true happiness is actually an energy within yourself and it's connected to your innate sense of joy, I want to share with you 3 concrete steps that you can take to help you to begin to break free from these patterns that take you away from that. So the human conditioning makes us want to move away from pain and towards pleasure. And most people are always looking for a way to find happiness in something that is separate from them, such as food, relationships, sex, alcohol, exercise, or sport, for example. And that's not to say that these things are not good. However, if you place your whole emphasis on being happy when you have these things in your life, then you are kidding yourself, because as soon as they are over, you'll feel unhappy again. So the truth I'm here to tell you today is that you are never going to find it on the outside of yourself. It is always an inside job. So the first step that I want to share with you in finding true and lasting happiness is about resilience. So life is messy, life happens. Life is going to throw all kinds of situations your way. It's how can you ride those waves? How can you weather the storm and find that you have an unshakable strength within you and also a capacity to be able to deal with these situations with grace? And one of the things that can really help to cultivate happiness within is the capacity to deal with life as it shows up and to stop resisting it because we want it to be a different way. Rather than moving from pain to pleasure and chasing things on the outside of us, we want to learn how to be okay with things as they are. And that does not mean that you won't have difficult feelings about certain situations in your life. You may feel emotions such as anger or frustration or sadness or grief, or even feel victimized by your life circumstances as I did. However, it is about learning how to be with these feelings and not resisting them. You need to learn to embrace the all of you, even your difficult feelings. You need to learn to show up for yourself. And life is a flow. Life flows through these 72,000 energy pathways through the body. And when we resist life, we block this flow not only in our physical bodies, creating tension and creating disease, but also we block this flow in our life. We may want to control how things are, and yet we don't really have control. People may die. In the last 5 years, I have suffered 3 major bereavements, and believe me, the 2 things that have really helped me to come to terms with those is both Kundalini Yoga and body talk, and this ability to build a resilience. So we may not get the jobs or the relationships we want, yet often there is a gift in these experiences, one which we can't see when we're in resistance. With Kundalini Yoga, we are training the mind to stop reacting to pain and pleasure as if one is right and one is wrong. That is just the construct of the limited mind. And you can drive yourself insane chasing this paradigm. Actually, when we can learn to just be with an experience as it is, we can start to experience that both pain and joy exist at the same time, just as health and sickness exist at the same time. But it's where is it do we put our focus? Most of the time this is subconscious, but when you start to change the subconscious programming, you then start to change your experience. And one of the things that I have really experienced in my own life is when my mother died, and the excruciating pain and the grief of that loss made it very, very difficult to feel into those emotions. And yet, when I had the courage to go there and feel it fully, what I found on the other side of that grief was joy. So you see, there is an unlimited potential in each moment, yet where do we put our focus? Usually we focus on what is wrong, or what we need to change, or how we need to get rid of it. However, how would it be to recognize that you are enough, just as you are right now? We don't often believe or feel it because we identify far too much with the limited mind. As you can see, this process does take courage, which is why I'm calling on women with a courageous and warrior spirit. But you see, there is also something else that we have to draw upon, and that is the belief in your divine right to be free and joyful. So if you are always identifying with your limiting beliefs, how can this energy or this magic come through that means that you can step into your gifts once and for all and share them with the world? We are all carrying limiting beliefs from childhood or ancestral patterns that we are not enough, that we have to work hard for success, that living your dreams perhaps are not possible. Yet when you begin to recognize that you are not defined by these limiting beliefs, that they are not really you, that there is another part of you that is all-encompassing, that is expanded and has the right to show up, then life will start to take on a very different experience. And I want to know, how much do you really believe in your divine sense of yourself? That you are the creator of your own life. You are not a victim. And that you are creating in every moment. When you begin to drop the limiting beliefs that bind you, you'll begin to see yourself in a very different way. And then you can begin to step into your own magic. This is the purpose of my life, helping people to see and access their inner light, lighting them up to their own wisdom and their own magic. So a key part of this process is really working with your self-worth. Now, as women, we carry this collective feminine wound of being marginalized, of being abused and kept small over millennia. And really, as part of the healing, it's about being able to embrace yourself and your needs so that you can stop living a shadow life. You can stop giving out to everybody else, and you can start to give yourself the opportunity to shine. Now, often as women, we've been taught that our self-worth is based in relation to other people. Maybe we've been taught that we need to be a good girl, not speaking up, keeping quiet, not expressing your needs, doing what other people want you to do. Yet as women, we have an innate sense of longing to belong. If you sell yourself out to others in order to feel good enough, how can you ever live a contented and satisfied life? This longing to belong comes from a deep contentment within you, where your individual consciousness can merge with the divine spark that is within you. This brings so much joy, even just in the breath. And part of true happiness is also about having strong, healthy boundaries. We need to have a good sense of ourselves that comes from within, and from that comes a deep sense of security around being you. You can then begin to drop the drama and the attachments and replace these with loving boundaries that keep you and other people safe. I hope that you're still with me and feeling as inspired as I am. And here is the controversial bit. I'm here to tell you that you've been set up for failure by society's programming around goals and outcome focus, which is detrimental and damaging to our well-being. I watched my father exhaust himself by running around trying to find success. He became a shell of a man because he never reached his goal. In all the years of being a yoga practitioner and body talk therapist, I have learned that this way of being is very toxic to our well-being and the cause of misery. No wonder we're all in a giant spiral of despair and in an existential crisis. Mental health issues are on the rise, and suicide rates are the highest in high-income countries, with someone committing suicide every 40 seconds. Running after happiness outside of ourselves is toxic to our well-being, and I'm here to tell you that life doesn't have to be like this. Just to recap then, that actually happiness is a state of being within. It is this energy of our own soul. If you look at children, they are so connected to source. They can be happy playing with a cardboard box. They really don't need anything. And this energy is within us always. So we need to stop searching for this on the outside of ourselves. We need to learn to begin to sit with our difficult feelings rather than living in this paradigm of moving away from pain and towards pleasure. By doing that, we can build this resilience and the resource within. And also believing in your divine right to be free and joyful, and to also work on dropping these limiting beliefs around your self-worth so that you can start to relate to your divine self and your soul rather than the limitations of your mind. And you're here because you know on some level that there is more to life. And that's certainly why I'm sharing this with you today. I feel like this is such an important message. Some part of your soul is whispering that it is your birthright to be in a divine state of connectedness. You know this. You know this before you even came here. And now is the journey to actually come back to that place. And some people struggle with really knowing this, about how we can find our way back to this divine state that life really is. You know, life is a choice. We always have a choice in each moment about how we proceed. And the more that you practice being able to sit with your difficult feelings, the more that choice is empowered. So you can choose to remain stuck and victimized in your life if you want to. However, there is another way. I'm hoping that you're feeling as inspired as I am by now, that actually you can make a change. And you can make this change for the better by beginning to align to your true self. If you know that to be true, even if you doubt yourself, then you're in the right place, because you're not willing to accept continuing in this space of disconnect and discontentment. If you are still here and you're still listening to me, then some part of you wants to solve this and find this true state of happiness, resilience, connectedness, once and for all within yourself. So are you ready to solve this once and for all? Are you ready to let go of the discontentment, the feeling of being trapped, disillusioned, or inadequate in your life? Are you ready to realize your gifts? This is why I'm offering you a free call today, so that you can find the clarity to move forward in your life. This call may not be for everyone. You need to be ready to make deep changes in your life and have the courage to go and look at yourself. I'll be there to support you, but you have to be willing to go there. So if you feel ready to take the next step, then don't delay. Please book this call with me and let me help you realize your magic. Lastly, I'd like to leave some feedback from clients that I've worked with over the last few years. I receive hundreds of testimonials from people who've had a positive outcome with the work that we have done together. If you are feeling inspired and want to move forward in your life, then please get in touch, and I really look forward to connecting with you.